Hello Muses, welcome back to another YouTube video from yours truly, Musingwithmeirys. I am very excited to bring you this one because I was tagged by my dear friend, Bookstagram and booktuber, just one of the best out there, Reading Geek, to do the Reader's Problem tag. You can follow her right here in YouTube. You will love her video. She's hilarious and she's Dominican. I mean, what is it not to like? So make sure to go to her channel and check her Reader's Problem tag where she challenged me to do the same. So let's get to it, because if you're not a reader, you would think that what kind of problems does a reader have? Let me tell you, we have a lot. So let's get right into it. Okay, you guys, so I have my questions here on these index cards. So let's get started with the first questions. You have 20,000 books on your TBR. I might have more than 20,000, but let's move on. And also TBR stands for to be read list for all the people here that don't know Bookstagram slang. You have 20,000 books on your TBR. How in the world do you decide what to read next? So if you don't know this about me, if you don't follow me on Instagram, by the way, go follow. I'm a very mood reader. So right now, this month, I've been reading a lot of romance and I've been doing a lot of audiobooks and just light books. I mean, the world is really scary out there as it is, so I don't need a very scary thriller book right now. So I've been reading a lot of romance novels. I just finished Happily Ever After and the audiobook of You, Me, and Us by Alison Hammer. And yeah, so I've been reading a lot of lighter books. Sometimes I just grab a book from my shelf and I feel like reading it and I read the first page. Sometimes that's not a very good idea, not reading the synopsis, because you go in blind and then you're like, okay, that's not the book that I actually wanted to read. I'm not feeling this book. But it happens. The only books that I put in my TBR, I have to finish this month, it's my book clubs books. I'm in 5 different book clubs, so always I put those books aside and I know that I have to finish it, to be ready for the discussion day. But other than that, I'm more of a mood reader, so I don't do a lot of TBRs, if you know what I mean. Anyways, let's move on. Second one, you're halfway through a book and you're just not loving it. Do you quit or are you committed? I don't have time to finish a book I'm not enjoying. I read for pleasure. So if a book is not giving me what I want, you better believe that I'm gonna put it down. I have a whole stacks of books, which actually just reminded me I am doing a DNF, that stands for do not finish, again for my people here that don't know Bookstagram slang. But I'm actually running a readathon trying to finish those DNF books, because some books I DNF not because they're really bad or I just didn't like it. It's just the timing was off. Sometimes, you pick up a book and you're not just feeling it, not because the book is bad, but you as a person, it's not the right time for you and that book to, to bond. So I decided to, with another friend of mine, Bookstagram, Katie, we decided to take some of those books that we have DNF because it wasn't the right time and give them a second chance. It's called the Second Chance Book Review. Wait, I even forgot the name of our readathon. But yeah, it's called Second Chance Books Readathon. I'm gonna leave the hashtag here somewhere. But yes, we're running a readathon trying to get to those books this month. I'm failing at it, but that's a whole other story. But yeah, if I'm not enjoying a book, trust me, I won't finish it. I mean, will you watch a movie that's 2 hours? Will you continue watching it if you're not liking it? No, I mean, Netflix has hundreds of selections. You go to another movie. It's the same with books. If I'm not liking it, I'll close it and I'll pick up another one. I mean, we don't have time to be miserable. No. The end of the year is coming and you're so close but so far away on your Goodreads reading challenge. Do you try to catch up? How? So again, I don't do TBRs, I don't do wrap-ups, I don't track my reading. And I used to before, like I said, when I started Bookstagram, I used to keep track of my reading like every single minute, like even how many pages I read a day, I was keeping track of that. And it was really draining me. Like it started out to be something like for fun, Bookstagram I'm talking about. And it started becoming something more of a competition. Like I started comparing myself to other Bookstagrammers, like, oh look, she read 50 books in a month and I only read 5. Oh, look at her, she's, you know, doing this and I'm not. So basically it's something that people do not like to admit, but yes, I was comparing myself a lot. I'm like, oh, look at this person's Goodreads goal and look at mine. And it was really just, you know, putting a toll on me. So I just stopped keeping track of my reading and just reading as I go. The only thing I do keep track of is my ARCs, my advanced reader copies, because those you have a responsibility to the publisher to read it in time, post a review on a certain date. So that's the only books that I'm like, okay, I have to keep track of those. But other than that, I stopped taking tracks of my reading. I do have a Goodreads goal just for the sake of it, but if I finish it, good, and if I don't, I mean, there's always next year. I don't know, but I do understand how for some people it's really important, and I don't discourage them or like, you know, I respect them for doing that. But for me, for my own mental health, I have to stop keeping tracks of my reading and just, oh, I have to read this amount of book this month so I could make it to my Goodreads. Like, no, like for me, like I keep saying, reading is for pleasure. I do it because I have fun, it makes me feel good. Yeah, if I ended up reading 2 books a month, that's fine. If I read 10, 15, that's even better, but it's not something that I'm keeping track of. And yeah, but if I had to, I feel like audiobooks helped a lot. Like if I was keeping tracks of my Goodreads goal and I would have been the year is closing and I haven't finished my reading goal, I think I would just try to read a lot of audiobooks because those are faster. You not actually like have to sit down and like read. Like audiobooks for me are a lifesaver because I'm always on the go. I'm always doing something. So audiobooks help me, you know, to read while I'm doing something else. And I'm also a very multitasker. It's something that I put on my resume because I can be doing a million things at the same time. Like, I don't know if that's like a talent or what, but yeah. So yeah, I will probably just try to do a lot of audiobooks, and yeah, that's basically how I would try to catch up on my Goodreads goal. But like I said, this is a very long answer, but yeah, I don't keep track of my reading anymore. I actually have a blog post in my website, musingwithmeirys.com. Again, you have to check it out if you haven't. I do have a blog post where I talk more in depth about why I stopped keeping track on my reading, and you know, the ugly side of Bookstagram that people do not like to talk about it or admit. So yes, if you want to check that blog out, I'm gonna leave the link down below for you guys. But yes, let's move on. The covers of a series you love do not match. How do you cope? I have to be honest, you guys, I don't own a lot of series books. The thing is, I'm very impatient, so if all the books are not out of that series, I will probably not read it because like I said, I'm very impatient. That's why I can never like do series, because if I finish the first book, I will want to read the second book right away. And if it's not out, it's been published in a year or something, like I don't know, like I don't think I could wait. But yeah, if I did own a collection of series and one of the covers did not match, I will not get it. It's not gonna mess up my collection. I'm sorry. I think that's all I can say about this. But yeah, you guys, I think I would just not get that cover and, you know, just keep the ones that do match, if that makes any sense. Everyone and their mother loves a book you really didn't like. How do you bond over shared feelings? So one of the things I love the most about Bookstagram is that you can find a community for whatever group you want to be. Like if you like to read romance books only, like you could find thousands of Bookstagrammers that loves romance books. If you, I don't know, you're a thriller fan or a YA fantasy fan, like in Bookstagram there's literally a place for everyone. You will not feel alone. So some of the times, I won't lie, there's this really hyped book, which there's one that I actually DNF, and I'm like, why people are raving about this book? It's not really that good. So yeah, Bookstagram, there's a place for everyone. So you will find somebody that feels strongly the same way about you about that book. Trust me. You are reading a book and you're about to start crying in public. How do you deal? So if I know I'm reading a book that's really emotional, I will probably not read it in public because I'm a crier, if that's even a word. Like, I will not just, I could be in front of the president or the pope, I will cry if I'm reading like a very emotional book. Like, my tears will just start falling out. So since I know myself, what I do is I avoid reading those type of books in public. So, you know, I read those kind of books when I'm in my bed. You know, I could just cry in my bed to sleep, you know? A sequel of a book you love just came out, but you've forgotten a lot from the prior novel. Will you reread the book, skip the sequel, try to find a synopsis on Goodreads, or cry in frustration? So, like I said, I don't read a lot of series, but if I do, which I read American Royal, and the second book is coming until fall, and I read it last fall, so I'm waiting a year for that second book to come out. So there are instances where I do read a book and it has a sequel, and you know, it's really good, so I don't mind waiting for it. But yes, that's what happened with American Royal. The second book is coming now in the fall, and I think I would want to reread the first book, but that's because I did the audiobook. And the thing with audiobook, like I said, I love audiobook, but certain things you don't retain it as much as when you actually read the book. So in this case, before the second book comes out, I'm definitely rereading American Royal, but also because it's really good. Like, I don't mind rereading books just because I loved it so much that I want to read it again. Like, I'm rereading Recursion by Blake Crouch. I did the audiobook again, and now one of my diverse body read with my Bookish Ladies Club, we're doing that one for our diverse book club, and I'm rereading it, and it's really good. It's even better than the first time I read it. So I don't mind rereading a book before the second book or the third book comes out. Like, I don't mind. So yeah, I would just reread it. You do not want anyone borrowing your books. How do you tell people no when they ask? So that's another thing. I'm the only reader in my family, in my close friend circle. Nobody reads. Only I read. So if they ask me for a book, I will let them borrow it. Just because the fact that they're interested in reading at all just amazes me. So I'll be like, here, yes, take the book. There's actually two friends of mine here. If they're watching this, they know who they are. That they borrowed a book from me, and it's been more than a year. I don't know if they read it or it's just sitting on their shelf or in their house collecting dust. But yeah, I don't mind, you know, people borrowing my books. But there are certain cases, of course, where a book is really special to you and you don't want anyone to like touch it or borrow it. Like, I have a few of those. I would just tell, like, I don't have a problem saying no. I'd be like, I will even give you the money, or just go to the library and get it. But I cannot, you know, this one is very special for me, so I can let you borrow it. Like, I don't have a problem telling people that. Anyways, this is like a longer question, but I'm just gonna get right to the point. How do you get over a slump? I feel like I'm repeating myself, but audiobooks. Guys, I've been in the longest slump of my life. I was in a slump for like 8 years. I've always been a reader, but there was this period in my life where I didn't read at all. Just like, you know, because school books, they don't count. So like, reading for pleasure, I was in the biggest slump ever. And audiobooks was the first thing that I tried to ease myself back up to reading again. So that's basically what I do even now. Are those moments even now with everything going on around in the world. You know, you're not inspired to read or pick up a book. So I do audiobooks because, like I said, audiobooks, since you're not really turning pages and physically sitting down to read a book, it's easier for me to get back on track to reading when I do audiobook. There's so many books coming out. How many do you actually buy? So I have a haul coming up. Spoiler alert. Because I don't live near bookstores, and I don't know if that's a blessing or a curse. But yeah, most of my books I buy online. So if there's like a few books that are coming out, what I do is that I pre-order them so they are delivered by the pub date. Now, the question really asks me now that I'm actually rereading it again. There's so many books coming out, how many do you actually buy? It depends. Like if there's 4, 5 books that are coming out, I would just get it. Like I would treat myself. I'll be like, listen, I deserve these books, so I'm just gonna get them. That's basically what I do. So if 10 books are coming out and I want them and I have the money to get them, I will get them. But yeah, I was in a book buying ban. I always put myself in book buying ban because sometimes you're like, it's too much. Like I take a look at my bookshelf and I'm like, come on, how many of those you haven't read? You don't really need those books right now, like I give myself that pep talk, like, come on, I know you deserve it, but maybe another time finish at least some of the books you already have. But most of the times I don't win the argument and I just get the books. Oops. After you buy the books you couldn't wait to get into, how long do they sit on your shelf before you get to them? So I'm guilty of this, because even though I will get those books no matter how many there are, I would just get them so they look pretty on my shelf. Because don't judge, okay? But the thing is, there's so many books you want to read and not enough time. Like I wish people would pay me just to read books. Like literally I will be home just reading books 24 hours, 7 days a week, and I will not finish my TBR. I think so. Because here's the thing, when I see those challenges, for you to tackle your TBR or finish your TBR, who are you kidding? Like, think about it. Who are you kidding? You will never, I don't want to be a downer. You could try and finish your TBR, but that's not possible. At least for me, that's not possible, because even when you're close to finishing all the books you have in your shelf, you're still buying more and getting more. Like there's still more books coming out. So I don't keep myself. I just be like, I will never finish my TBR, so might as well, get more books, even if they're just gonna sit there, but at least I have them. I can look at them. I can appreciate them, So yeah, unless it's a book that I was anticipating for a long time, like Clap When You Land. I'm still waiting. Amazon, I don't know what's going on. I pre-order it and it was supposed to arrive by the pub day. I don't know what happened that Amazon still hasn't delivered. But the minute I get Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo, I'm reading that book. So there's some special cases where when I buy a book, I will start it right away. But most of the time, when I get more than like 3 or 4 books, they will sit in my shelf for a while before I get them, But yeah, I can't wait for the Elizabeth Acevedo new novel, Clap When You Land. I hear it's amazing. I have her other 2 books actually. I have The Poet X, which I got in a book swap. And then I also have With a Fire on High. Her covers are always so pretty. So I am so excited to finally get her 3rd book, because I want all her books. Like she's an auto buy for me. Like any book she will write, I'll get. Because come on, it's Elizabeth Acevedo, right? So that's basically it, you guys. Those were some great questions actually. Thank you so much, Annabelle, Reading Geek, for tagging me. I'm gonna tag a few people actually down below. Thank you so much, you guys, for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Please subscribe. It will mean the world to me. And also turn on the notification bell so you're the first to know when I drop a new video, which is every Wednesday. I can't believe I'm actually sticking to it, you know, uploading every Wednesday. I'm really proud of myself. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you learned something about me. Yes, I'll see you guys on my next video.